smile, John.
Good evening. It's August 28th, 2025, Thursday, and we're in Studio 6C tonight. And it's my pleasure and my distinct honor to be speaking with Mr. John J. Jeckovich. How are you doing today?
Very good, thank you.
You're looking well. You're looking well. Did you have a nice dinner?
Oh, yeah.
Good. Do you like lobster?
What?
Do you like lobster?
Who?
Do you like lobster?
No, not too well.
What kind of fish do you like, Mr. Jeckovich?
Fish? Perch.
Perch? Okay. Did you have a lot of fish when you lived in Niagara Falls?
No, I never fished.
Did you have a lot of fish to eat when you lived in Niagara Falls? Did your mother make fish dinners?
No, we had fish there Fridays. So
Fridays?
Yeah.
Yeah, because back when you were a boy, Catholics couldn't eat meat, and so you had fish dinners.
Oh,
And
yeah.
all the restaurants, including the Polish Nook, had fish dinners on Fridays.
Oh, yeah.
It was a big thing.
Yeah.
I don't think that happens anymore. Do you?
No, I don't. I think they got away with that.
Yeah. Do you want me to read some more of the diary?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Mr. Jeckovich was in World War II in a big way. Mr. Jeckovich was from Company H, the 2nd Battalion of the 291st Regiment of the 75th Infantry Division of the U.S. Army during World War II. Mr. Jeckovich lives by the motto, yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, and today is a gift, right?
All right.
Today's a gift. Enjoy every second, boys and girls, because as Mr. Jeckovich says, it goes by quickly, right?
Yeah.
Life goes by quickly. Mr. Jeckovich says he blinked his eyes at 20, and now he's 100, right?
Yeah.
How old do you feel today?
20.
That's great news, great news. Where'd those 80 years go?
Who?
You blinked your eyes at 20 and now you're 100. Where did those 80 years go?
You forget where you went. Where we went.
It went by that fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. So listen, boys and girls, it's truly a short dance around the sun. You're only visiting this planet. You truly are. Mr. Jeckovich said he blinked his eyes at 20 and he's 100, and that's a fact. You know, you must understand life is very strange. You will arrive here with nothing. You'll spend your whole life chasing everything. I want a new car, or I want my new watches, I want new clothes, I want my kitchen remodeled, I want a new house. So you spend your whole life chasing these things, and still you're going to leave with nothing, right, Mr. Jeckovich?
Right. You leave with what you came in with.
Nothing. You never seen a hearse pulling a U-Haul trailer, so you come into this life with nothing. You'll leave with nothing. But please, make sure your soul gains more than your hands. It's very important that you make sure your soul gains more than your hands. It really does. Okay, we'll read Mr. Jeckovich some of the diary. In order for me to open up the computer, I'll need the passcode. What's your dog tag number?
42965.
Thank you. Here we go. 16 January 1945 diary. The entire 1st Battalion resumed attack on the morning of the 16th. The Germans had fallen to previously prepared positions. An assault against the positions by Company B was detrimentally resisted. Finally, with the aid of several light tanks, troops swept forward several thousand yards, meeting sporadic resistance and halting only in the face of darkness. The entire battalion was able to advance this day on toward Ville de Bois. Wow. 17 January 1945 diary. Late afternoon found Company C men entering the town of Ville de Bois. 1st Battalion troops found the town abandoned except for a handful of Jerry's who had no fight at all left in them. So most of the Nazis are giving up now.
Yeah, yeah.
Where do you think the name Jerry's came from?
Jerry?
Yeah.
It's probably short for German.
Oh, look, I like that, yeah. After clearing the town, outposts were set up, and that night each man had a chance to get some sleep, dry his clothing, and get warm. 2nd and 3rd Battalions during the day, 3rd Battalion occupied Petite Thierre, while the 2nd Battalion moved across the roads at Padua, where a roadblock was established. 20 January 1945. Following the taking of Petite-Thierre, the 3rd Battalion moved to Belgium and relieved elements of the 289th Infantry Division on the right flank of the division. So each section is always relieving another so they can get some rest and rejuvenate, right? The next morning, the battalion jumped in on the attack toward Aldringen. Moving through the woods all day, the battalion met only small pockets of resistance. At dusk, the battalion had held up to reorganize. Company I then moved on toward the objective, and with the aid of tank support, the battalion took defensive positions just south of Aldringen. The town of Commonmaster was entered and cleared by Company B in the early afternoon of the 17th. On January 22nd at 1200 hours, 1st Battalion launched an offensive against the town of Maldingen. Wow. Just 2 miles east of St. Vith. You've been to St. Vith, right?
Yeah.
The attack was to begin at noon. B Company was to push through C Company and capture the high ground in front of the town. Company A was to follow B Company and then swing to the right and set up a couple hundred yards east of the town. Company C was to move forward just a few minutes behind Company A and move into the town and clean it out. Despite heavy enemy shelling, the town was taking on the 24th. 3rd Battalion with Company F continued the attack at Aldringen, and on the 25th, Company F moved through Bayeux to attack. Aldringen casualties in the attack were very heavy, but the town was cleared and defenses were set up. After these bitterly contested battles, waged in on sub-zero weather and deep snow, the 291st Infantry mission in the Ardennes was completed. The regiment had taken its part in pushing the Wehrmacht back and flattening the Bulge. This was accomplished in the days of misery due to the waist-deep snow and cold. And you're still suffering from frostbite today.
Yeah.
80 years later. What's your pain level now? Frostbite bothering you today?
Yeah, oh yeah.
What's your pain level?
7.
Yeah. 26 January 1945 diary. This day found the 291st men relieved of their defenses in the Ardennes and preparing to board 40s and 8s for what they thought would be a rest area. Followed 2 miserable cold days on the train down to Colmar Pocket in France. This was no rest area, but another pocket to be cleaned out. Detraining at Freble, France, on the evening of the 28th of January, the regiment was assembled in the woods outside of Wideware on the 30th. 1 February 1945 diary. Relieving elements of the 3rd Division on January 31st, the 291st Infantry again went into the attack on the 1st of February. 1st Battalion and 2nd Battalion were in coordinated attack near Foreshore in the direction of the Rhine. The shelling was intense. The Germans were fighting desperately as they were behind, being hemmed in on all sides in the Colmar Pocket. The shelling was coming from the fortress city of New Bruges, which was guarded the last escape bridge over the Rhine. It was only the way the Jerry's could get across the Rhine. Thus, the desperate struggle was to pushing up on the woods. Company C reached a large open field and saw the fortified city of Wolfganzen about a mile away. Wolfganzen was a key city to the walled fortress town of Neufert-Rocher. The battalion had progressed steadily through the tangled Alsatian thickets, but was halted in the early afternoon by heavy enemy counterattack.
19 minutes.
After heavy fighting, tank support was summoned and the counterattack repelled. So the tanks played a great big role, right?
Oh, yeah.
Without the tanks, you would have been in trouble, right?
Oh, yeah.
After heavy fighting, tank support was summoned and the counterattack repelled. The attack was held at this point until late evening. After resumption of the attack, the troops proceeded without opposition through the several thousand yards of dense woods to reach an open field before Wolfganzen. At 0700 hours on the 1st of February, Company F jumped into the attack from the Forschelbin. With E, G, and H companies all pushing in an attack, 2nd Battalion advanced 1,200 yards to a heavily wooded area. That's a pretty big advancement.
Yeah.
1,200 yards to a heavily wooded area. Continue the attack at 0200 hours on the 2nd. 2nd Battalion pushed on through the woods, reaching high ground overlooking Wolfganzen. The men were subject all day to heavy enemy artillery fire, but the counterattack against the 298th Infantry at Appenhoer, the battalion was pulled in reserve in the wooded area. On the 1st of February, 3rd Battalion, meeting little or no resistance, moved up to the defense position on the edge of the woods just outside of Wolfganzen. The 2nd Battalion being pulled in reserve necessitated extending the battalion front. Pulling back about 300 yards from the edge of the woods, defensive positions were set up, and for 3 days the men were subject to heavy enemy artillery fire. Oh yeah. Okay, here we're getting down to it now. 4 February 1945, diary. On the evening of the 3rd day, 3rd Battalion moved forward in the attack. K and L companies led off with I Company in reserve. K and L companies were pinned down by heavy resistance from the overwhelming German forces. Early the next morning, Company I, with the support of tanks, drove through, although suffering heavy casualties itself, the move on through the woods to its edge near Appenhoer. Having been repulsed by heavy enemy artillery fire the previous day in an attempt to attack at Wolfganzen, 2nd Battalion circled back and maneuvered through the woods, renewing the attack on the 4th. Received heavy enemy artillery fire and suffered many casualties. Continued to clear the woods in the evening and set up a defensive position. So there's a lot of casualties during this time. Right?
Yeah.
On the 5th of February 1945 at 1700 hours, Company C moved in to attempt to reduce the apparently impregnable town of Wolfganzen. A and B companies attacked the opposite ends of the town, with C Company attacking directly across the fields that hit the town broadsides. So well planned and executed was the attack that it was accomplished almost bloodlessly. By early evening, Wolfganzen had been entirely secured and the companies moved into billets. Well, so now you're able to rest, right?
Yeah.
During that course of the attack, 2nd Lieutenant, then T Sergeant, Odila Bonde, got lost from his organization, headquarter company, 1st Battalion, because as he put it, he wanted to see what it felt like to go at the attack with a rifle company. He soon found out. He came up riding on one of the tanks, having a hell of a lot of fun, shooting a 50 caliber machine gun.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah. Wow. On the 6th of February, 2nd Battalion moved in to within the site of the Rhine River Oberstation. Remained there for the day, the 7th receiving some bombardment from the jet planes. On the 9th of February, the battalion marched to Wolfgansen, where the 1st and 3rd battalions were also assembled. 9 February 1945 diary. The days following the capture of Wolfgansen were days of resisting and getting cleaned up. Wolfgansen was enjoyed very much by most of the men. There were plenty of wine in the cellars, and eggs and chickens and other food was plentiful. What'd you make, like scrambled eggs or something?
Yeah.
The weather was also getting enjoyable. Gone were the cold, freezing days at the Ardennes and the miserable ride by 40s and 8s down from Belgium. On the 12th of February, the 15th Battalion moved by truck to towns of Charanville, France, and Remeneville, France, for 3 days of good rest, clean clothes, and movies. So you had to wash all your clothes yourself, or did they bring you clean clothes?
Yeah.
Yeah. And movies. 2nd Battalion moved to Clementine, France, for 3 days of rest and relaxation. 3rd Battalion set up towns of Riverville, France, and Visage, France. All companies of the regiment enjoyed the brief rest period, which included baths, movies, beer, rations, and church service. 15 February 1945 diary. Is there any minute count?
No.
With the Germans chased out of Colmar and the campaign there ended, the 291st Infantry troops boarded 40,
12 and a half minutes.
boarded 40 and 8s again on the 15th of February en route to Holland. Did you spend much time in Holland?
No.
The weather was much warmer and the ride was enjoyed much more by the men than the one earlier in the month. Stopping a weekend in Belgium, 291st men again were impressed with the hospitality of the Belgian people. So tell us, how friendly were the Belgian people? They really welcome you?
No, we're the liberators.
And they're happy to see you, right?
Yeah.
That's nice. 291st, again, men were impressed with the hospitality of the Belgian people. 1st Battalion built in Herderen, Belgium. People this time were especially cordial. They gave the men their home, their food, and their beer. 2nd and 3rd Battalions found the same conditions, and other Belgian towns where they were billeted. So they really roll out the red carpet for Belgian people. 18 February 1945 diary. On the 18th of February, the 291st Infantry moved up to Holland to relieve the British unit in holding position on the Maas River. The regimental CP was in Hildesheim, Holland. 19 February 1945 diary. After relief of the British units in Holland, the 291st Infantry remained in defensive positions along the Maas River and to the 1st of March. During this time spent along the Maas, mission of the regiment was to hold our side of the river and gain intelligence information of the enemy through patrols. It was a static situation. The weather was warm, duties were not excessive, except the outposting on the island in an area which stuck out into Jerryland. The companies all got much needed replacements, while in this position were once again up to full strength. The 291st Infantrymen liked the Dutch people and believed the feeling was mutual. Considerable business with them was done on a barter system. Food was plentiful, so the men traded cigarettes for eggs, pies, and other things, which by now had been a delicacy to them. Outside of the few skirmishes and incidents with patrols, there was no real action. A few artillery shells and other harassing fire was received in the area, but booby traps
9.5.
But booby traps and mines harassed patrols, many casualties being lost as a result. It was here that Lieutenant Colonel Robert H. Sanders, 1st Battalion Commander, was killed by a mine. It was also here where Sergeant Erich Schwartz, Company A squad leader, who speaks German, managed through the rush to capture 16 Germans during the night's reconnaissance tour, which won him a cluster to the Silver Star. Wow. 7 March 1945 diary. With the Germans being pushed back across the Rhine, all along the front, the 291st Infantry moved up through Holland during the first week in March, and then the start of the second week of the month found it in its defensive position on the west bank of the Rhine River, south of Wesel. The regiment spent over 2 weeks here in position. These days were spent outposting the Rhine River, and life was not unpleasant. Regular hours were kept, and everyone got plenty of rest. Now and then, some artillery came in, and the unit suffered some casualties because of it, but the incidents were rare. Company A reports March 8th to 23rd were good days. The companies were spread out along the Rhine River in farmhouses. So there's a lot of farmhouses there, right?
Oh, yeah, the farm country, yeah.
Were the farmhouses bombed, or were they in good shape?
No, they try to save them.
They saved them. And very little fire was coming from the enemy. Men ate well, helping themselves to farmers' rich stocks, slept, wrote letters home. Did you write letters home, Ben?
Say what?
At this time, were you writing letters home?
Yeah.
You read it, right? Yeah. In occupation of these towns, along with the west bank of the Rhine companies of the 291st Infantry, got their first taste of military government work. And aiding to veil the preparations for the coming of the crossing of the Rhine, civilians had to be screened and suspected evacuated. And the ones who are suspected evacuated. One of the humorous incidents during the stay here was at a cattle roundup, in an effort to get all the cattle in one area so as to avoid any hindrance to crossing operation. The regiment, with the aid of the Belgian soldiers, rounded up all the cattle in the area in one pasture. Doughboys turned cowboys for a day. The regiment was of almost nightly reconnaissance patrols across the Rhine, brought back needed intelligence information for the use by the unit that participated so successfully in the initial crossing on the 24th of March. Regional headquarters and companies I and R platoon had important OP on the Rhine. 24 March 1945 diary. Then in the early morning of the 24th of March, the 30th and the 79th Division passed through the 291st Infantry lines for a successful crossing of the Rhine River. The crossing was preceded by a 2-hour artillery barrage of the German position across the Rhine. The greatest artillery bombardment of the war. Cannon and anti-tank companies 291st Infantry both participated in this, and one of the greatest barrages in history. Cannon Company reports firing 1,400 rounds that night. That's a lot of rounds.
Yeah.
Anti-tank company was using their 57 as artillery pieces, as every gun obtainable was fired at the Jerry's. Company D, 291st Infantry, gave direct support to the units crossing the Rhine, and later protected the engineers in the construction of the first pontoon bridge in the area. March 26 saw Company D credited with German plane shot down, the accuracy of Sergeant Robert Finch's machine guns. With your machine guns, did you shoot any planes down?
Huh?
With your machine guns, did you shoot any planes down?
No,
You-
no.
Okay. The remainder of the month saw respective companies
4 minutes.
of the 291st Infantry guarding the bridge sites across the Rhine and moving across the river on the pontoon bridges to assemble and prepare for an attack on the Germans who were holding out tenaciously in the Ruhr Pocket. Other American forces were driving towards Elbe River on the road to Berlin. So that diary is pretty interesting. With the bridges gone across the Rhine, how'd you get across the Rhine River?
How we get across the Rhine River?
Yeah.
Well, we got the best swimmer. He swam across the rope out of his chest, tied it to a tree. Yeah, we all went over across the river behind that rope.
So the first guy swam across the river, which was an excellent swimmer,
Yeah,
with the rope. And then what did you do with the rope once he got across?
tied across the tree. Tied it to the tree.
And then what'd you do? Do your rowboats or something on to hold the rope?
No, we just go in the water and...
Wasn't it over your head?
No. We found a shallow spot.
Okay, so the best swimmer swam across, tied it to a tree, and on your side you tied it to a tree. So that rope was a guide.
Yeah.
To go, was the water very swift?
Oh, yeah.
So were you like getting pushed all around, or are you pretty stable?
Well, we had the rope to steady us.
So without the rope, you might have had trouble.
No, we had to have the rope, yeah.
I see. And how many guys crossed with the rope?
The whole battalion.
Like about how many is that?
About 300 guys.
Wow. And no Germans picked you off?
They were in an area. We picked a low spot.
A low spot. Wow. That water must have been pretty cold.
Oh yeah, it was cold. That was middle of December.
And so when you got to the other side, didn't all your clothes freeze?
Oh yeah.
So what did you do? You're frozen.
Well, we couldn't sit down and change there. We had to keep going.
Wow.
That's how we got frostbite.
That's
That's
how
how
you
I
got
got
frostbite.
frostbite. Yeah.
And you're still suffering today. Wow. That's amazing. Wow. So without that rope, you would have been out of business.
Oh yeah.
300 men crossed. Wow.
How did you, when you got shot that one time, you said you were in a lot of pain?
Pain?
Yeah, what did you use? Didn't you have some morphine or something that you had to use? For the
Well, it was cold. I said when you shot and you get bleeding, take a shot. So I'm going to shock.
And did
And they
you
gave him some morphine.
administer the shots yourself, or did
Yeah, I was giving it myself.
So every soldier had in his backpack morphine.
What?
Every soldier had in his backpack morphine, right?
Yeah.
But didn't you say it was frozen or something? Did
What?
you- the morphine was.
No, it was alcohol.
I know. I thought you had to put it under your arm to warm it up.
No, we put it in a sack bag or something.
Okay.
Wow,
Wow.
that's unbelievable. How many minutes?
Just under one.
Wow. But a lot of high-ranking SS officers, they all had a little pack of cyanide, right?
Yeah.
The Americans didn't have cyanide, right?
No.
So when the SS figured their time was up, instead of being captured, they take the cyanide
Yeah, kill
to
himself.
kill them. And that happened a lot, didn't it?
Yeah.
And many high-ranking officers who were convicted, the Allies said, if you want to take the cyanide, go ahead and do it, and they did. You know, after the Nuremberg trials.
10
Yeah.
seconds.
Wow. Well, we got another one in the books. What do you want to do now?
That's why Trump.
Okay, we'll do that.
What time is it?
Let me look, Mr. Jeckovich.